So let's get started making our cards. I'm going to show you first all the materials that you need to make these, and I'm going to show you 6 cards. So when I sit down to make a project, I just don't go and stamp one card because why go to all the trouble of getting out all your materials just to do one? So I like to mass produce cards, and I usually need thank you cards. So this is a set of thank you notes, and you're going to do 3 like I showed you earlier. Let me find them. You're going to do 3 that look like this, and then we're going to do 3 that are similar to this. They're all going to be just a little slightly different. So all the materials that I'm going to give you we should be able to accomplish that. So I'm just going to give you instructions for each card. When you're making these, you definitely want to stamp everything at the same time while you're stamping. You want to die cut everything at once. That kind of automates your process. So the things that you're going to need, let's talk first about cardstock. So you're going to need some thick Whisper White paper. You're going to need 6 card bases. Okay, and so what you do is you cut them in half. They're 8.5 by 11 sheets. You cut them in half, and then you score them. And when they're folded, they are going to measure, where did my notes go? Because I'm not good about giving you these off the top of my head because I'm just not it has to do with math and I can't do it. So yeah, so your card bases are going to be 5.5 by 4.25. Okay, so the next we're going to do 2 layering pieces for 3 of our cards. So you need 3 pieces and this is in Early Espresso, and that measures, let me get my notes here again. Okay, so that measures 5 by 3, no, I'm sorry, 5.5, no, where did they go? 5 by 3 3/4. No, 5 1/4 by 4. So these are 5 1/4 by 4, and then the smaller piece is a quarter size smaller, and that is 5 by 3 3/4. So you'll need, and this is Whisper White, and this is just our regular Whisper White cardstock. It's a little thinner and it's great for layering. Okay, so that's what you'll need for the cards. Then you're also going to need for the tree canopies, you're going to need a 1 sheet 8.5 by 11 of Emerald Envy, and you're going to cut this in 3.5 inch strips, and you should be able to get 9 trees with these strips, or tree canopies I should say. Now keep your scraps because we're going to do something with those later on. So you should have a 1/4 inch strip of Emerald Envy, and you should have some 1/4 inch strips of your Early Espresso. So hang on to those because we're going to use them. So let me get these out of the way, and let's get started on what else you need for your project. So because these are, you're also going to need a scrap of Real Red cardstock for your apples. Almost forgot to mention that. And you're going to make quite a few apples. Okay. We'll set these aside. Can't get a hold of them. All right. So another thing you're going to need some scissors for trimming. You're going to need a couple of adhesives. I'm going to use my snail, and in order to use my snail for the tree canopies, I'm also going to need a silicone mat, and I'll show you what I'm going to do with that later. Other things that you're going to need, of course, is some ink, and I'll show you what you're going to do for that. You're going to need Real Red, Early Espresso, and Emerald Envy, and you're also going to need Versamark. So then, since these are photopolymer stamps, you are also going to need a foam piercing mat, which I have here. This gives just more, makes you stamp a little more evenly and with good pressure. It makes a nice, sharp, crisp image. And then, I'm sorry, I'm having lots of things going on here. I'm trying to get this stuff out of the way. Okay. Oh, and then you need adhesive. Another type of adhesive you're going to need is something to put the cherries on the trees. And so you could use Tombow glue. I find that to be a little messy. You could also use the fine tip glue pen that we now carry. All of those are good options. For me, it's easier just to use glue dots. So I'm going to use my glue dots to stick them on the trees, and I'll show you kind of a quick way to do that when we get to that step. So in the next video, I will show you how to make the thank you card on the right. Thank you for watching.